Hello, it is Monday, March 22nd, 2021, and I apologize. Normally I am not this late, but I don't know, Windows decided that it wanted to update this morning, so I had to go along with that. Okay, I just had to check my microphone for a second. Normally I do like the audio and video checks beforehand, but again, the Windows update made it a bit difficult. So, what I'd like to do today, because the Scorespace Jam, wherever that might be, it's not on there. Scorespace Jam that's, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, okay. Scorespace Jam is what we were working on for the past couple days, and that completes in 54 minutes. I did submit something. I don't think we submit things on itch. I believe it's done through this. I believe it's done through here. Yeah, it ends in an hour. So if I don't know if there's a way that I can access the submissions on this platform, but if there is, I will end up playing some of them later today. But yeah, we're not going to work on this because I have stuff done for it, and I would play it, or I'd play through it or look at it, but I don't really want to do that quite yet, just because it's been, well, I'm trying to think of how to say it. I need to add some stuff. I need to finish some features before it's actually completely done. But anyway, we ended up using this list view component throughout that jam, and I kind of like it. I just need to fix it up a little bit. So that's what we're going to do today. I wanted to base it on the Android or maybe the JavaFX versions, just to see, if I base it on, I mean base the API on that, just to see, or just because those have pretty strong APIs and they tend to work. Let's see, make sure that I have all of this. Yeah, all that seems fine. Never managed to overwrite the item binding. Interesting. I could have done that. Very interesting. Okay. Yeah, I think all of this works. I think there are some issues though. So I think when we refresh, when we add stuff, we don't refresh. Refresh, remove. Yeah, okay, it's removed. Blah blah blah. I think all of this is fine. There's clear elements. I don't know that we actually do anything. What does refresh do? I always forget. Because I know I needed to fix some things. Where is that? Okay, so it's clear, and for each do a create. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think of how to deal with some of this. Okay, so let me look at how this is done in Android. See what kind of API they end up having. Let's say Javadoc? Javadoc. Okay. So normally, drawable color, alright, drawable height, entries, XML attributes. There's a context, we don't need that. Attribute set, no, that's fine. It's footer view, Header, okay. Dispatch event. Get divider, blah blah blah, on key down. Java FX list view. Let's see how that works out. Basically, I just want to get an idea of how other people do stuff like this. So they apparently bind it to an observable array list. That's interesting. Orientation, scroll to. So really the only thing is it has cell factory. So given a call, what is a callback? Is this not, is a functional interface assigned to the lambda from P to R? Is it, okay. So it's called given a single argument. Okay, so this goes from P to R. Okay, so this is just a function. Okay, so callback converts from a list view to a list cell. Wait a minute. That's interesting. Oh, no. That's very interesting. It converts from a list view to a list cell. That's yeah, I don't understand that. Flexible model, items, the underlying data model, observable on cancel, on edit, cancel, on commit, on start, scroll to orientation, and placeholder. It's the selection model, okay. So let's look at C#, observable list. Is that a thing? Convert a list to an observable collection. Convert a list. What is an observable collection? So there's the list box, list view, tree view, blah, 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 notify, unchanged. So before implementing your own, consider observable collection or one of the existing collections. Whoops. Any others? Oh, hey, how's it going? Omar Khan? What we are doing is we are trying to make this Unity list view that I've been working on a little bit better, because I used it for a game jam recently and I really liked it. I just need to actually fix the API a little bit because it had some shortcomings. So that's what I'm looking at. You can call me Omar. Okay. That's cool. Yeah, thank you. Some of the Twitch some of the names on Twitch, it's hard to know what to call people. Also, I am turning invisible. The lighting is changing in here and I don't like it. That's not right. Oh boy. Nope, that's not working either. That's probably fine. Closer to fine, yeah. It's a cloudy day today, so I'm having issues with the lighting, but you know. But yeah, what we're doing now is we're looking at the C# API, or sorry, the Java API for a list view, so we can get some ideas on how to actually do that, or what a better design would be. Yeah, apparently there's observable collections in C#. What are we making? So we are making just a list view in Unity. So one thing that has frustrated me about Unity is that there's no like built-in list view. I know that there is with the new UI stuff, but it's sort of not ready to be used yet. But anyway, the idea is that if I create this list of items, what I want to happen is I want them to appear. Let's see if this still works. Yeah, so it basically creates these prefabs based on a template, and I don't think the controls work yet. Now that I took out the controls here. Yeah, what it ends up doing is it ends up instantiating a template, whoops, wherever it might be, right in here. It'll instantiate that multiple times based on the contents of this list. And in terms of C#, this is actually just an iList. So we can treat this component as if it's a list, and then whenever we modify it as a list, it will modify the underlying list view. And so the idea is we do something like this, where we just, oh, that's interesting. So we can add items to the list itself, okay. Yeah, the idea is that just basically it's something that manages a list of items without being too much of an issue. And so yeah, that's what I'm trying to improve right now. So had I known about an observable collection, I probably could have made this a lot better. But I knew that this was a thing in Java. I didn't know it was a thing in C#. Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you for the follow. I need to get the notifications set up. Out of curiosity, how did you, if you're still watching, how did you find this channel? Were you just browsing through programming, or is it from a Discord server? Let's copy to sync root, ilist.insert extensions. compatibilities from XAML. Really? Object oriented. Oh, interesting. XAML. Where's the actual... So it provides notifications, but where are they? From browsing. Okay. Yeah, thank you. I was just wondering how people are finding this. But yeah, thank you. Alright, let's see what the iNotify changed interface is. Because I think this is what we want. iNotify changed. Okay. Alright, so actually let's just mess with this really quick. So this is collections.objectModel. That's interesting. I'm not used to that before. So let's say using system.collections.objectModel. Alright, cool. Now what do we have here if we have, let's say, a protected, say, observable collection? Let's see if we have an observable collection of strings. I call this data model. Okay, so what do we have? What can we actually do with this data model? .collection changed. Is that all we get? Actually, let's just go into it and see what we get here. Okay, collection with an enumerable collection. Okay, I like that. Check reentrancy. Interesting. How can I learn any one computer language? Do you have any programming experience at all? Or, well, I guess that makes sense. If you're trying to learn it for the first time, I'm trying to think of a good way to learn it for the first time. I mean, the way that I'll tell you, the way that I learned to program, which was kind of funny, depending on how old you are, I don't know, but the way that I learned how to program was I had like the TI-83 calculators, you know, like in high school, I had a TI-83 calculator. And so the way that I ended up doing it was, yeah, I had one of these, but you can actually program these. And so what I would do is, for math class, they make you use TI-83s because they can't do like really sophisticated math. Well, I mean, they can, but there's certain things they can't do. But I would make the calculator solve problems that it wasn't supposed to be able to solve. And that's how I did it, is I had my calculator out all the time whenever I was in high school. I mean, it just comes down to you gotta practice. I mean, a good way, I mean, there's plenty of like tutorials online for it, YouTube. Oh yeah, actually, look up Derek Bonas. This guy has like tutorials on absolutely everything, like absolutely any language you could ever want. You know, he has C++, C#, Visual Basic. You know, he has tools on technologies like Django and AngularJS. But yeah, Derek Bonas is really good for learning to program. He has everything. It's crazy. You know, low-calorie recipes, Dungeons and Dragons. He's just really good at teaching people things. And I'd say just watch his stuff because he explains it really well. And then beyond that, just practice. W, also, what area of programming? Yeah, that's a good point from W there. It's depending on what area you want to learn. Observable on collection changed. Okay. Gamedev, yeah. That's oh, interesting. Ooh. Huh, this looks really complicated. So this is new items. Oh, really? Oh, interesting. This looks really complicated. Yeah, there's a couple things you could do. One of them, I'm trying to think of a good engine to work with as your first engine. Because I mean, for game development, you're going to need to both know how to program and also know how to program within an engine. I think Godot. Okay, Yeah, Gato sounds like a good. From what I've seen, a lot of people like Gato. You might also consider Unreal, because Unreal, they have the blueprint system, or at least they used to. But yeah, Unreal has, I'm trying to find a non-complicated image, because it's really easy to, they have a visual programming language kind of like this, and this is kind of good for understanding, you know, how data actually flows through a system, and it's a little bit easier to understand how to write code this way. But it's like a visual sort of programming language. You don't have to know that much like actual code, and then you can later sort of translate this into knowledge of like a written language. But yeah, Unreal might work depending on how good your computer is. Otherwise, use Gato, because Gato is pretty good. So I was going to use this observable collection, but it seems like I don't get... So from the observable collection, it seems like, where did I put it? Oh geez. Yeah, it seems like you get a notification, you get an unnotify collection changed. The issue is that this thing seems like god-awful. It seems like I mean, it doesn't look like it tells you exactly what happened. Oh jeez. Oh my god. I need to change the auto mod settings. Brand new. Where do I see? Beginner course. Feel like a. Oh. Feel bad because. Yeah, it looks like this doesn't tell me exactly what happens. Unless... Oh, okay, yes it does. It just does it in a horrible way. Okay. So we can... Yeah, I'm not doing that. That's dumb. I'm not using that. I'm not using that. Oh my god. That seems like they just implemented that in the worst possible way in the observable collection there. Okay. Because the words don't make any sense. Yeah, it takes... It's... It probably means that the person who's teaching the tutorial doesn't... Probably means the person who's teaching the tutorial isn't very good at teaching. And I can say that because I've tried to teach people to program, and I have learned that I am no good at teaching people. Just because it's hard for me to express, it's hard for me to say, you know, it's hard for me to say it in a way that other people can understand. And so generally that's what you find is that, you know, whenever you have trouble learning, it's usually a teacher sort of thing. Some people just have the skill of teaching other people don't. And so you just have to find someone who teaches stuff well to you. But I mean, there's also just practice. And to be honest, the feeling of, I don't know, the feeling of being stupid in programming never goes away. Like, there's still times whenever I'm like, I feel really dumb. But yeah, it's an observable list. Okay, let's look at an observable list and see how this actually works. This is add listener, list changed listener. How do they do this in Java? I'm very curious now. Change listener dot changed. Yeah. Unchanged. Okay. The list change listener dot change. Get list, get permutation, go to... Where's the actual... because I'm a beginner, and you're not supposed to like write a long line and say if you don't get it, that's okay, just write it as it is that don't make any sense. If I'm not getting what I'm writing, how would that work? So one of the problems with programming, like especially languages like, let's say, C#, is that there's a lot of stuff that people don't want to explain. So for instance, let me just make something really quick. like to actually make a program run, you need like the very basic of any, most languages is like public, static, void, main, string, args, etc. And so rather than, the problem is that all of, where is it? The problem is that all of this, why do you not like that? Oh, no, oh, class, sure. Rather than trying to explain what all of this does, because this exists mainly to appease the compiler, the only important stuff is what's right here. And so that's what people try to teach, rather than trying to explain the whole structure of, like, this is an artifact from object orientation, this is an artifact from forever ago. It's just, there's a lot of stuff here that you just have to type to make the compiler happy. And so that's why people tend not to teach it, especially early on, because it just doesn't matter. If you're learning something like Python, that won't be really an issue because you don't have to do much to make a Python script run. And that's also true of stuff like TI Basic. You don't really have to do a lot to make it run. But yeah, there's just a lot of stuff in programming where, like, programming is a very complicated thing, and you know, half the time I'm not even sure what I'm doing with half the stuff. You just kind of know what works, and it's very much an art and a science at the same time. You just kind of learn to say, okay, I'm going to copy that. I don't really know exactly what it does, and I don't have time to find out. I'm just going to see if it works. And so that's really a lot of what it is. And I mean, yeah, over time you do learn more stuff, and you can look at stuff and you can say, well, that's probably going to work. That's probably not going to work. You know, like half this, I don't know what half of this is doing. It doesn't really matter. What I'm looking for in here is, basically what I'm looking for on this page is I'm looking for something, well, I can't find it here. I'm looking for that. Trying to figure out how this knows what happened in this change. And so I'm just kind of trying to find the, how you figure out what the change was, because I don't actually know. Okay, so this is how they do it in Java. Rather than having an enum represent what happened, they have Boolean values that represent what happened. I don't know if that's any better. You know that Brachy is on YouTube. He was a legend. Yeah, Brachy's is really cool. C#, and with the help of him, I can now make a calculator. Oh, that's good. And a question and answer thing. That's good. That's a very good start. I mean, once you know the basics, it's just a matter of practice. I guess the way that I would... So wait, if you know Brachy's, can you do that stuff in, let's say, Unity? Or did he do non-Unity stuff? Because I saw him, the only stuff I saw Brachy's do was Unity. Yeah, but he says, yeah, it's very unfortunate that Brachy's, had to go. He had to go do some stuff, I think. So, okay, it looks like the observable collection stuff is just not going to work for us, sadly. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Brachy's is really good. You can watch his old stuff. I mean, it's still valid, right? Like, programming, it changes, but it doesn't change that much. Like, even tutorials from, like, 10 years ago are still useful. So that's one thing you can do. I think Derek Bana still makes some tutorials. I think there's Infallible Code that does, I don't know if Infallible Code does that stuff anymore. It does C#. But there's definitely a lot of people that do C#. You could also try to learn Java. Java's a little bit simpler. Python is really simple too, although Python can run into some issues. Since the end of this day, couldn't find any other teacher. Let me double check. Oh, actually, who's really good? Hang on. Let's see if I still have this. Where is it? Aha. So, try the guy you're talking about. So another good resource you might consider, or a person that has explained a lot of stuff to me, like one of the people that I have relied on in the past is Quill18. The user is Quill18, but Quill18 Creates is the, what is it? It's like the dev channel, but he has this Unity base building game, and it starts literally from the ground up. Oh my god. Go away. Go away, thing. Come on. Yeah, it basically starts from, you know, from nothing, basically. You know, this is back whenever they had, like, you know, mono develop was the default. And then he goes through, like, you know, 70 videos and, you know, it ends up with something like this. But yeah, he goes through and he explains it from the ground up, so you might consider that. Yeah, Quill18 Creates. But yeah, this is the person that you know, got me into game development. Other guy, Derek Bonas? Yeah, Derek Bonas. He does some good stuff too. I don't know that he does Unity stuff. He might though. So apparently, yeah, he does have how to make video games. So Derek Bonas does. I don't know if this is specifically Unity, but it is definitely some video game stuff. But yeah, those are two people who are really good at explaining stuff. And I mean, of course, the old Brackeys stuff is also like completely valid to use. Yeah, that's the name. Okay. Okay. So. Trying to think of what I can do. Let me go to the other game that I had, the one that I was actually working on for Scorespace, because that one has like the updated version of this. Don't bother saving that. And I hate math. Is that a problem? Well, the good thing about math, or the good thing about math in programming is that, yeah, you only have to figure it out once, and then the computer will do it for you. So yeah, as W says, it's not really an issue. Like, there is some, like, for most math, you can, I don't know, you can really get around it, because there's a lot of, like, people have done the math for you in a lot of cases. Like, yeah, I mean, you just need to know how to translate math into code at some level, and even then, it sounds harder than it is. Okay, so this is what I want the list view. Most important skill would be problem solving. Yeah, W is right. The most important skill is problem solving. It's basically, you have to be willing to, like, you know, get things wrong and then just know how to take the wrong answer and turn it into the right answer. So this is what I'm using this list view for, is that I create a list of, let's say, you know, these backgrounds, and then on the left, or on the right here, on the left there's the background, on the right there is the actual description of it. So I need to give it a list of these background objects, and then I need it to pull information out of them. And I need that done in a generic way. So let's say that we have, you know, this scholar background. Then we go to, let's say, the learn menu. Then this is a different backing object. And then we go to the events menu, different backing object, same concept. Train, again, same backing object, different concept, or different backing object, same concept. God, I can't speak. All right. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to get this list view to do. The issue is that the code for this is god-awful. Let me see if I can find it. Where did I put it? I know I put it in here. In here. Yeah, the code for this is absolutely god-awful. But it works. But it's god-awful. Yeah. Let me try to show what I'm trying to improve. So we have our list items. And then in terms of, like, for the show skills, what I ended up doing was list view.onSelect gets hijacked here. Like, you just, you know, give it an onSelect. And then what we do is for each of the learnable skills, that's something in the player. It just gives us a list of strings, I believe. Yeah. We go through and then we turn each one into a name. So this is the first problem, is that whenever I put something in the list, or whenever what I want to do is I want to put the skill itself in the list, and then I want to store this mapping code on the list itself. Oh, C++. Yeah, C++ is a great language. Oh, Haskell's amazing. I really love Haskell. I'm no good at it, but I love it. But yeah, Haskell shouldn't be a first language for a lot of people. It's just too different from other styles of programming. But I think that like it should definitely be a language that everybody learns at some point, because it's a great language. Let's see. So yeah, the first thing I want to do is I want to move this code into the list view itself. And then the second thing is whenever something gets selected, instead of having this sort of onConfirm thing which maps it back, basically all this does is this maps back the string to the like backing object. We need we need to get the skill object in sort of this onConfirm thing. Okay, so we at least have a half of an idea of what to do. Let me open that back up. So yeah, we need to make the list view generic somehow, and I don't think. Right, okay, so this was the issue, is that not C#, but what are they called? Mono behaviors I don't think can be generic. And I'm not, well, I think I have a way of getting around that, but I don't know that it's that good. But let's see. Okay. So let's go into here. Let's actually start writing some kind of code. I can make a simple calculator, and I can make question and answer page, and those two combined, and some more things, among others. So out of 100, I am much in 2 or 3%. I mean, I don't know if there's, well, the thing about programming is that you don't really ever stop learning. Like, even if you know one language, like even if, let's say somebody knows Java, they don't know, there's still a lot of things that they can't do, and there's still a lot of like ways of thinking that you don't know. So like each new language sort of has its own kind of concepts and ways of thinking. To be fair, like C# is an extremely complicated language relative to something like, let's say, Java. But yeah, as you have to, you've started, so you just have to keep learning. Yeah, it's really just a continual process of learning. Like there's still a bunch of stuff that, I have no idea, I've never done. Well, the stuff that I'm not good at, let's say. But like, a lot of the stuff that I'm doing now is like, for instance, I've never, developed some kind of API for like a list view or something, or some list view kind of object. And so now I'm doing that, I haven't really worked that much with, let's say, like concurrency or, multi-threading. I know the basics of it, but I just haven't done it. Get you a link, hold on, okay. So yeah, okay, so the way that we need to do this. So okay, let's just call this a list of objects rather than a list of strings. So the problem with that is that then we can't, the problem with that is that then we can't create a public property for this. This is list object. Oh, right, because we'll have all these things that are unimplemented. Huh. Alright. Well, let's go re-implement everything. It's probably fine. All right. Ooh, actually, will we even be able to assign this? Actually, I'm very curious now. Oh, it doesn't like something. It doesn't like that. Okay, let's... Sure. Oh, that's interesting. Let's not do that. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Are you unhappy with... Really? That's interesting. Okay. IList object.fit. What? What is this? And what of these 3 C#, best to learn to be Python? Yeah, for game development, I would say Python. One thing you will note, one thing about Python though, is that whenever I was in like university, they tried to teach people Python first because they thought that that would be the best thing to learn. But what they found was that whenever you teach someone Python first, it gets harder. Like then they try to go to like C++ or something, it actually gets harder for them. So it just depends on what you want to do. But Python's probably fine. Like especially for like game development. But okay. So now what happens? Jeez, why does it not like that? Okay, it's fine. Okay, so what do we get in the actual inspector here? Yeah, we can't mess with the list view. I guess that's fine. I guess that's acceptable for this. You know, we just won't be able to assign this directly. We'll have to move it down with other stuff. So the default and the highlighted color, yeah. Ready into C#, and I still have 0 different code. I was self-taught in the 90s. Yeah. Oh wow, learning C++ in a self-taught way in the 90s. Oh my god. So W, did you have a physical book to learn C++? It will be very, very confusing. Different code, same stuff. Omar, it might be confusing. It might actually make it easier though, because a lot of languages have sort of similar concepts. And whenever you can learn, you know, if you learn it in one language, you might be able to... Martyr's Mega Project. Oh, interesting. Oh, wow. Dude, this is really good. That's amazing. Wow. Trying to complete the list, really? That's crazy. I'm gonna keep that open. I like that. Oh yeah, physical books taking over the phone line. Oh my god. Yeah, I heard. So one of my professors, he was talking about learning like C back in the, I don't know, it probably wasn't the 90s, probably like the 70s or something. And he was saying that they all had, you know, they had like a limited number of computers. But he said there was like one physical book, like one physical manual for C, and like all of the college students had to share it. So I can't even imagine. Like, I really can't even imagine. Like that must have been crazy. Was that back whenever they had like or did you learn it on like a personal computer or did you learn it on like a shared system? But yeah, in terms of like for Omar like self-teaching, generally the way that you do self-teaching or the way that I do it is, well, first off, there's a good the thing that W sent is really a good resource, which is just you sort of pick something you want to do, and then you know you pick something you want to learn. Like let's say you want to learn I don't know, you want to learn about, the different collections or something that most languages have, you just sort of pick something you want to do and you just, mess with it until it works. So, I mean, that's kind of what I ended up doing here, right? Is that I wanted to do like list view stuff, and so I have this project that is devoted to just figuring out how to do a list view, and then I translated it into another project. I copied this into another project for a game jam. Yeah, it's really about just writing code. Like the more you write it, the more comfortable you'll get with it. It's really hard to explain. Okay. So we have this, and what we need to do is we have the highlight selected, that stuff works, index up. So we need to index of, we need to return, no, it's not data. And I mean, also, Omar, if you have like specific questions or if you have questions about Unity, you can always ask me, and I'll try to explain it as best I can. So there's elements dot index of item. I think I missed a question. Something shared. Oh, I was just saying that one of my professors, when they like in college, they were telling me about when they learned to program. They had to share like a physical book with all the other students. And I was wondering if you had learned. I was wondering if when you learned programming, did you learn it on like a shared system in like a college campus, or did you learn it like on a personal computer? I don't even know how to do anything. How can I mess with it? But you do know how to do stuff, Omar. You said you can make a calculator. You can make a question and answer thing. So try, adding features to a calculator. Try adding, you can probably print stuff. Oh, at home on a personal computer. Okay. I was just curious. How can I mess with it or try to make anything work? I mean, you basically have to take what you know and then try to, add stuff that you don't know. I mean, no, it's good. I mean, part of the reason that I have this sort of Twitch stream, Omar, is that I want to help people learn how to do stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's not, if I want to work and not be disturbed, I just don't stream, right? Like the whole point of me being here, well, part of it is so that I can help other people learn how to do stuff. Like one of the main reasons that I'm streaming my own workflow is that whenever, like people who are like sort of at an intermediate programming level, one of the things that they have issues with, or one of the things that I found whenever I was at that sort of level, is that I could only find beginner stuff, or I could find like academic explanations of stuff. I could never find anybody who was just, going through their workflow and explaining what they were trying to do. And so that's why I want to do this. Okay, tell me how I can up it a notch. What do you mean by up it a notch? I mean, really, it's just, you gotta take what you know, and really, if you want to learn, whenever you learn stuff, you just gotta take what you already know, like, for a calculator, for instance. I don't know, you gotta find stuff you don't know. This is part of the other, wait a minute, was that returning? No, that was throwing. Yeah. Calculator, does your calculator know how to do square root or something? Tell me what you want me to do with calculator or Q&A thingy. It depends on what you want to learn. I mean, you really got to pick just a concept that you don't know anything about. Like, okay, so you say whenever that you, so for instance, whenever you watch a tutorial, right, you say that there's a lot of words that don't make sense. What kind of words? So let's say elements start with item, sum of calculator plus minus 5. Okay, that's just response to that question. Get enumerator. So here's something that I don't understand. This is Yeah, this is something that I really don't understand. So I didn't even know this was really like a thing, but why is there a generic version of this and also a non-generic version of this? Like, that's something I don't understand. I didn't even know you could do that. I mean, I know that it's because the list itself inherits both of those, but my question is why? Also, it's not... Wait a minute. Is that really not valid? Hold on. So this is from IEnumerable. No, this returns, oh, right, it's IEnumerable. Yes, okay. So yeah, I didn't know that that was allowed, that there can be a generic version of something and a non-generic version. Because I thought that the non-generic version of something just compiled down to that. So that's, no wait, is that genuinely something you can do? I have to test this. So here's a very good example. You know, my question is, you know, is this the same class or is this referring to two different classes? So the way that I can figure that out is I can create a class. Let's call it foo because that's the colloquial class name. Then can we create a generic version of this? Is that valid? That's, hold on. So this shouldn't be valid, right? Yeah, that's not valid. But that is? My brain, that's weird. That's very interesting to me. Is this like a C# thing? That's really weird. That's really weird. Oh, okay. Okay, wait a minute. Wait. So if that's a thing, can I do data? Oh, really? Okay. Can I do that? So I can do that, and I can do that. Oh, that's really interesting. Okay, so yeah, you can create that. You can have a non-generic and a generic version. Oh, that's so weird. So that's something that I was not aware of that's different between C# and Java, because in Java, list is an interface, so you can do that in Java, right? That's a difference. Wow, that's interesting. That you can have a generic version and a non-generic version. Because in Java, it works basically like the list, right? Is that you can say an iList of string, or you can have just a list, and it's the same as like a list of object. Is that a different interface? Really? So that's object this. Protected iList string data 2. Hang on. Is this different? Oh my god, this is different. Wow, that's like... Then I'll tell you, then you correct me if something is wrong. Wait, let me think about... Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you have questions, I can definitely answer those. Wow, that's so trippy. Why is that a thing? That's... Like, what... Functionally speaking, right? What's the difference between this and that? Is there any difference? So iList, you get index of, insert, and remove at. But with a normal iList here, that's really weird. Well, it looks like, so for data 1, if I understand what I'm doing, wait a minute. Can I not clear? So for data 1, can I not clear? Or wait, does one inherit from the other? holds type of object. Oh, so you can clear this. This comes from an iCollection of object. But in terms of data, it comes from just list itself. That's really weird. I don't understand why they would do that. I'm really confused now. Okay. C# iList. Is it just that like iList is a generic version? If that's true, then it should be really old, right? It should be. So the .NET standard, oh, it doesn't tell me. So it's from .NET Core 1.0. Okay, but .NET Framework 1.1. I think iList is an artifact from before old times. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. And generic didn't exist. Yeah, okay, I think you're right. C# iList generic. iList T, so it should be after 1.1. Oh yeah, it's in .NET Framework 2.0. But in the .NET standard since 1.0. What? Okay. It's in the framework from 2.0. So this one is older. Okay. That's trippy. That's really crazy. So I tell the PC that square root is equal to multiply with the same number I want the square root of. So yeah, the square root of 25 is 5, yeah. So yeah, if 5 times 5 is 25, then sqrt of 25 is therefore 5. 25, yeah. It's basically like that. The formula looks not the formula, but the truth table would look something like that. You know, so 5 by 5 is 25, and square root of 25 is 5. So they're kind of inverses in that sense. Okay. So wow, that's really weird. All right. So that's why this implements both, I guess. Okay. Question or answer solved, or answer gotten. The other question that I have that I really don't understand is why I need list of object.this, because I believe if this is a string, I don't need it. I don't need the actual thing here. So I believe what will happen, let's see what indexer it generates. Yeah, okay. So this is the other thing, right? Is that if I have an indexer for an iList of string, if I have an indexer, and a hint is there is a function, square, yeah. So yeah, okay. So if I have a object, or if I have a class that implements the iList of string interface, that requires an indexer. So the indexer has to return a string, and it indexes on this at integer index. Okay. So my question is, if I say list of object, why then is it invalid for the indexer? Wait, what? That's not what it did a second ago. I am now super confused. Okay. I swear it was generating the other indexer just a second ago. If I get rid of all these. What did I do? What did I do? Alright, I'm very confused. Did I type list? Is that what I typed? No, I didn't type that. Okay. Okay, so just edification. Is this valid? That's valid. No, it isn't. Okay, wait a minute. I'm gonna back up. What did I do? Okay. This was valid here. That's interesting. Why is this considered... Okay. Oh, is it because this is not public? Oh, that's interesting. So... that version... Oh, whoops. Learning all sorts of things this morning. Oops. So because the indexer on iList is public, this becomes public by default. Is that right? But if I do this, then it is not technically public, it's like package public or whatever. But then if I add the public keyword back to it, then it becomes public again. Okay, so if I do this, and then let's generate all the stuff for that, then I get rid of this, then this is the way that it generates it, so that it can differentiate between the two. But if I get rid of this, it's no longer valid. Yeah, because we don't have the indexer. But if I put this to public, then it works. Dear God, that is weird. But I'm glad I understand it now. Oh my God, that's so weird. I get it, but it's weird. Actually, wait a minute. That is true, you did calculate the square root of a number. Okay, so according to the stuff I said on the PC, whatever number I input, it will multiply that number to the same number, so that if I input 3, it will multiply it by 3. So the square root, what would be the square root? So whatever I said is right or wrong. It's true, you did calculate the square of a number. So square root of 25. So this is more of a way to learn to search and implement it in your code. According to the stuff, I input, multiply the number by the same number, multiply it. So I think you're describing the reverse of a square root. You're describing the square. So like the square of 3 is 9, but the square root of 9 is 3. The square root of 3 is actually something pretty SQRT3, or yeah. So the square root of 3 is actually like 1.7 something awful. That's the square root of 3. A little more complex. Okay, so that's really weird what I just figured out. Okay, wait a minute. Can I... Okay. Curious. Can I implement this? Wait. So in C# you can implement the same generic interface twice? Or the same interface twice? Wait, whoa, how does that work? Wow, that's weird. C# is weird. I didn't know any of this stuff about C#. Like, you can't do this in Java. Like, Java will not let you do this. It'll basically say that it can't tell the difference. Oh, dude, that's super weird. Oh God, my brain is being bent. I didn't know any of this was possible. Yeah, it's not considered since they are generic. Yeah, but the thing about generics is that these are... But generics... Okay, I understand generics in Java. They must work differently in C#. Because in Java, generics are largely like just a compiler trick. So in Java, what it'll do is it'll... If you have a list of, or if you have some kind of something that's like T, what it does is the compiler will replace it with okay, let me give an example, because this is my understanding of how it works in Java. So maybe I misunderstand how generics work in Java, but I don't think I do. I mean, they probably work differently in C#. But yeah, if you have like class foo of, let's say, T, then you have, you know, protected T data, or just call it T. And then you have public T, like get T, or get like that, you know, return T. Sure. My understanding is that in Java, the compiler will basically do this. That's fine. So yeah, this is my understanding of what Java will do. Right, so this is what, you know, my understanding of Java is that it does this, is that if you have, you know, it basically just replaces the T with object. So the problem is, so that if you had, like, let's say, an interface, you know, you implemented, let's say, it implements, let's say, a list of, you know, T, and then, let's say, list of QRST, you know, S, and then you had, you know, a get for the version of, let's say, S. Whoops, god damn it. All right, I'm gonna just turn this into a comment so that it makes more sense, or so that I can stop worrying about it. You know, whatever. Whoops. We do, you know, whatever, and then we do whatever. So the issue in Java is that whenever the compiler tries to compile this, what it ends up with, well, I guess it doesn't. Maybe I'm wrong. Whoops. Oh no, it's return. Oops, this wouldn't be right. This would be the return, you know, T casted to, or T casted to T. Whoops. Need a cast operator. I thought this was a thing though. Maybe it's that you can't. Yeah, you'd end up with this. And I don't know that this is valid in. The problem with this is that given the get method, you can't tell which is which. So this is the problem as I understand it in Java, is that, let's say, you know, you have some, I don't know, interface bar that requires you to implement get, right? So you'd have to implement get of T, get of S. Problem is that whenever it gets compiled, you end up with this, and the compiler can't tell which is which. So that's weird to me how that works. It's just super trippy. Like, I'm not wrong. You can't do public int get, and then, you know, public string get. Whatever. It should tell you. In C# you can specify which one you implement. So let's return null. Or return default here. Yeah, okay. So yeah, as I thought, this isn't valid, so I don't know. Basically, I don't know how it can figure out the difference, is what I'm trying to. So, clear, right? So clear only gets implemented once. That's interesting. So it's smart enough. Make a generic interface that implements the get method. Yeah, I mean, I know that it works. What I don't understand is how it's figuring out which version to use. But I can't find any methods that follow. Then make a class that inherits for both of them from a different type. Yeah, I'm looking for a method on this. Okay, so index of. curiously, is index of implemented more than once? Oh, okay, interesting. So, compiler can't figure it out, you have to tell it. Okay. I mean, I know that there's some issues like that in Java, but one thing I am noticing is that even though I have implemented list of object and list of int, it looks like only one version of index of was generated, and it's for the object. I'm curious, if I turn this to an int, what will happen? Object complains, and then what do? We generate a second copy. Yeah, as expected. So you get an index of int and an index of object. But it looks like index of object also fits for index of... Oh, that's interesting. With the same parameter. Wait a minute, did I just miss that the first time? Am I just crazy? If I remove this, is there going to be an issue? Okay, no, I was seeing something that wasn't true. Okay. Okay. That's just super trippy to me. Am I wrong about that in Java then? I thought... No, I might be right. I don't know. Alright, let's try this as you had said. Okay. So let's create this. And then if we create... See, Omar, this is how we do like the learning stuff, right? Is that we decide kind of what we want to learn, and then we just test it out a little bit. Okay, so let's create that. And then let's say return, or let's say public get, or public t get. Okay, let's say you implement bar of int and bar of string. Okay, we should get issues here. Yeah. So we implement this, but it lets you do that. So is it the case... Oh, interesting. This can just return default. So now is it the case... So if I don't specify which one I want... Basically, so if I call get by default on foo, I will get this version. But if I cast it to bar of string, I will get this version. Very interesting. See, yeah, so it had to add a specifier. Okay. I believe in Java that's not... I believe in Java this wouldn't work, actually. Let me try. Why Bracky's left a 1.3 million sub channel? I don't know why he left, but I suspect it had to do with he just, you know, wanted to pursue other things. There's Java. Alright, I have to make sure I'm not crazy here, though. So let's check out a Java playground. Let's not do that. Let's try that. No. Let's try not. Java language, or Java whatever. Oh my god, I don't care. Sure. Alright, let's see. Here we go. Run this. What do we get? So that's the standard output, whatever. Who cares? Why is this an awful code editor? Oh my god. Alright, fine. I'll go to Google and do it. Not there. Is this fine? That'll work. Alright. So I paste this. The issue is the default's not a valid thing in Java. So we return 0, then we return string. So what will Java do? Because it should, I mean, this obviously should have issues. Oh, of course. Really? So this generates an ISE. Alright, let's do something that's actually valid, which would be that. Expected. You expected what? Expected int. Illegal start of expression. Oh, right. Yep, have to use that. It was not an ISE. You're wrong. Public interface should be. Oh, you can only do one file at a time. Oh, that's so lame. I was pretty sure that that's not valid in Java, though. Yeah, that's really weird. Alright, I'm glad I learned that, because that's... It's very interesting. Okay. So that doesn't... It's cool to know, but it doesn't help me anyway. Okay, so we need to get rid of refresh, highlight selected. Okay, so anything below here we can get rid of. But yeah, see, I've been writing code for over 10 years and I didn't know that, so learn something new every day. Then, so this needs to be an iList of object. And then we need to implement all of the stuff related to that. Which it didn't do because why? Oh, there we go. Okay. I'm going to take a short break because I need to think a little bit, but I'll be back in maybe 5 minutes, and I'll see you guys then. Alright, and I am back. Alright, yeah, that was... my brain just like... ugh. That was so weird. Like, that's... like, C# in my mind just got to be a much, much, much better language then. Because that was a huge limitation that I saw in Java, and I have to still double check if I understood that limitation correctly. Okay, so since this now has a list of objects, what I had done before, and I think I'm going to have to do now, is create some kind of like, I got to think of what I would call it, like a mapping kind of object. No, actually we can, no, never mind, we don't need to do that. First thing we need to do is we need to re-implement all of these methods. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to point them to the default versions in the like elements itself, and then whenever we need to modify the underlying list, like modify the thing that the user sees, we can add those things as we need to. But I think we had most of them to begin with anyway. No, not index up, insert, okay. So elements, yeah, I was gonna say, that should be fine. Dot remove at. Yeah, and then I think after this, what we need to do is we need to add some kind of function that will map from the item itself to like the text that needs to be displayed. Because that was one of the issues that I had as well, is that I just didn't know, or I didn't have any way of knowing what text would be displayed. Oops, elements.clear, yes, there we go. And then in contains, we return elements.contains, and then we return item. Yeah, I wish that languages like C# and Java had an easier way to do stuff like this, which is that I have like a backing object already, and I just want to implement like certain methods. Otherwise, I want them to point to the original. Like, I wonder what the syntax for something like that would be. Like, I know that some languages have it as, I think they call it like a mix-in or something. Or no, not a mix-in, like, I know Groovy has traits, which work in a very similar way. You don't like that, why? Oh, because I'm not returning. Yeah, it would be interesting if I could just say, you know, like iList, and then I would just say as like an expression defined member as, you know, elements or something. And then the language would just know, basically say, hey, you know, if this object doesn't have a method for iList, just go to elements and call it on that. Like, that would be an interesting syntax, I think. And I think it would get the point across. But unfortunately, we don't have such nice things. So let's say get enumerator. So I think to make this functionally equivalent down here, what I have to do is I think I have to say IEnumerable. I think I need to cast elements to that, and then get the enumerator from that. And I think that makes it functionally equivalent, but I don't know. But I'm going to assume that it is. I got rid of create item, I believe, which is unfortunate. And actually, did I? No, this is fine. Okay. So the elements.forEach create item. So I believe we don't have a create item. Okay. So I remember public. It wasn't public. It was protected. So the protected void create item, and we wanted to do that for an object, which was the element or the item. My suggestions don't work in Visual Studio 2019. Have you ever had this issue, and do you know how to fix it? Genovex, or Genovex? So by suggestions, I assume you mean the, like, if I were to do this, you know, it'll tell me, or it should tell me in a second. It should be like, I assume you mean the Alt-Enter menu doesn't work? Is that what you're talking about? Or, oh, autocomplete. Oh, so for IntelliSense, okay. So that is like elements dot, you know, like this menu doesn't work. Is that what you're saying? Okay. So are you developing in Unity, or are you developing in something like, are you developing just a standard like C# project, or are you developing for Unity? Because I know about the Unity issues that happen. Okay, so what you're going to want to check is you're going to want to check this right here where it says Project Assembly C#. If this says miscellaneous, then probably what's happening is that file, like the only time that I've ever seen that before is that this will say like miscellaneous or something, and what that means is that it's been dissociated with the actual like project, and it's, from what I've seen, the compiler doesn't run on it. As far as how to fix it, I have no idea, but that's what I've noticed before, is that you'll see it say like miscellaneous. There's like, I think you can do it if you, like, it's like you've opened a file and it hasn't been associated with that Unity project. So one thing you can try to do is just like move your C# scripts outside of Unity and then just clear out the actual project itself. Like, I think if I open this in the Explorer, oh, where does it actually put? Actually, I don't know where it puts the project. Let me try to find it really quick. Yeah, so let me put this somewhere like that. One thing you can try to do is, so like in your scripts folder, wherever that might be, I would just move that outside of Unity, and then in your, so if you go into Unity Assets, so if you go from the Assets folder, if you go up one layer, you can delete your .vs stuff, like your VS Code stuff. And so like the first step is just make sure you have your script saved somewhere else outside of Unity, delete your VS project stuff, and then go into Unity and create a new script. Like go through create and then create a C# script. And what that'll do is that'll cause Unity to recreate the Visual Studio project, and that might get everything back on track. I think that's what I've done before to fix that, but yeah, I've seen what you're talking about where it doesn't seem to have the autocomplete. And if that doesn't work, it's probably a setting somewhere. So I think there's Project Assembly C# properties. Or not? It's exactly what I see. Okay, yeah. Because that's usually what that means, is that means that Visual Studio isn't seeing it as part of a like C# project, and so it doesn't know where to get all the dependencies and stuff like that, so it really can't do much. But yeah, tell me if that works, because I'd like to know. Okay, so in create item, so actually let's try to just do a debug.log here. So Omar, if you're still watching, this is another thing. Get very familiar with how to log things, because that's like the simplest way to do debugging. So if I did this correctly, or if I understand this correctly, what should happen is in the awake, we should call refresh. And so we'll call clear items, and then we will create an item for each element in the list. There won't be any, so nothing will happen. But if I go to elements in list, actually no, what I want to do, let me create a new list. So a list of strings, right? We'll create, I don't know, 1, 2, and let's say 3. And then for each of those, what I will do is I will call add on this. Call add on this object. And actually, no. Let's just add them to elements. Yeah. So this should add it to elements. And then we'll refresh, and though since we have something in this list, we should get 3 log statements for each object. And what just happened here? Why are you not happy? Oh, elements. There we go. Now, did we get 3 log statements? Yes, okay, good. That indicates that it is working. Okay, so in create item, what we need to do is we need to instantiate. So for create item, we have, let's say, this list view. We have this template item, and what we want to do is we want to create a copy of it, and then we want to set it active, and then we want to set its text. So The way that we're going to do that is we're going to say var item. Whoa, actually, right, I should have used element, not item. That's going to annoy me. All right, so the item is going to be equal to instantiate. We're going to instantiate the template, and we're going to instantiate that at the content, and so the content is just like the root of the list view. Then we're going to say item dot, I think we have, what is it, the text binding or the item binding? Item, let's just call this the text getter. Getter, yeah. And then the highlight getter. Yeah, okay. Highlight image getter. Yeah, okay. Or no, this is the background getter. That's what we should call it, because it is technically the background. Okay. And so these are just, actually, text equal element.text. Oh, interesting. That's not really what I want. Because this is the background getter, but no, what I want, okay, so actually what I want is I want a list item component. Yeah, that's what I want. Well, do I really want that? I really don't. Because I want this to function without having to create a list item. But then again, it does seem like just the better way to go. Yeah, I'll just make a list item component. Because usually there's like a list item class in most, let's say, or most, what's it called? List item class in most languages. Oh, but the problem with this, right, is that this can't have a generic type associated with it. So I think if I put a T in here, I think it no longer becomes eligible to be, like in, I don't think Unity will show it anymore. Because I don't think it likes generic types. Let's say list, yeah, it can't add a list item anymore, okay. That was the problem with doing that. So it would have to know its generic type somehow outside of this, which would be annoying. All right. Yeah, creating a list view in Unity is super annoying. Okay, so basically what I want is I want a map from the, I guess the object or the item itself to the text? No. I want that. I want something that represents Alright, let's create a list item. Sure, we'll create a list item class. And we'll make this of type, well, actually, we already know now, well, okay, we don't know the type of list anyway, okay. It's annoying. You have to create a concrete amount of behaviors of each type of list view for it to show in the inspector. Okay, yeah, it's just so, so annoying. All right, I guess what I'll have to do. Yeah, I think you're right, W. All right, so I have to do this in the way that I don't want to do it, but I'll just get over it, I guess. All right, whoa. I don't know what happened there. I'm gonna pretend it didn't happen though. All right, so what I'll end up doing is I'll just create a list item component, and sure, what we need to store is we need to store the background, which is an image, and then we need to store whatever the text component is. So I guess not public. I'll make this protected. This will be an image. We need Unity UI for that. And then I think we need Text Mesh Pro. Yeah, it's annoying. All right. And actually, no, we do want this to be gettable. This should be image. This will be a public get, but a protected. protected set, something is wrong with my things wrong with autocomplete. I'm doing something wrong. Oh, because I'm not naming it right. There we go. Okay, and we'll say tmp text, and this will be the text we can get, and then protected set. Okay. And I think I need to serialize these. Yeah, serialize them. And this way we won't have to apply the serialized field is invalid or redundant. Is it? I'm pretty sure Unity doesn't handle auto properties, does it? So let's say we add a list item. No, it doesn't. Okay. So it seems like they need to suppress warnings or something, right? Like it's weird that the compiler warns me about that. But does it not? Hold on, I thought that serialized field was the way to make that show. Is there some other? Wait a minute. Wasn't that a thing? Show in. Am I crazy? I thought auto properties. I thought Unity could handle those. Property inspector. Is that not a thing? And then auto properties. Really? Am I crazy? I swear that was a thing. Am I just crazy? Properties and methods in the Unity inspector. How can I expose C# properties? Oh, okay. Serialized fields. Oh, so you create the auto property, but you see. I thought that was a thing. Oh my god, what is wrong with me? Am I just going crazy this morning? Oh my god. Oh, right, because this. No, that's. Alright, I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. I don't know what I'm thinking. I don't know. I mean, fine, I don't care. This is where good standards go to die. Alright. And with that out of the way, we can get rid of that. The template itself needs to have not a rect transform, it needs to have a list item component. That'll be slightly easier, and then we don't need to invoke those things, we can deal with that a bit later. Right now, the create items, this is the item component. And so what we can do is we can say item dot background is equal to whatever the, or sorry, background dot color is equal to the default color. Yeah. We can say item component dot text is equal to, let's say, element, or no, we needed a text mapping object for that, or a text mapping like function. So it should be a function from a object to a string. This will be the name getter, and then the default should be say item, and then we return item.toString. Yeah, I'm gonna say a public, let's say function from object and string. So it's a question of if the name getting thing should also do formatting. I guess so. I guess it will have that responsibility. So we'll say element dot, or no, it's the name getter dot invoke on the element itself. I using element or item? .text.text, yeah. .invoke on the element, and so let's go to, so actually we're calling this the element, not the item. And the item is the actual thing that appears in the list itself. Is that right? I don't know anymore. So yeah, elements, so the things that are contained in elements are elements, yes. Okay, and so we don't need to do any of that. We need to actually get the template .background.color. That's the default color. Okay, and then in the text getter, we don't need to deal with that. Oh, this is the old create item. This is for string. Yes, we just need to set it active. Okay. This is the background getter, so we just need to say that the interesting. So that invokes it on that child. So actually we need to say that the list item is equal to the child dot get component. This is the list item. And that has space in it, which we don't need. Then we say the list item. So in highlight selected, say the list item.background.color is equal to the background color, whatever that might be. Let's put this up here. Okay. And, oh, I know what I'm thinking of. Wait, no I don't. Never mind. I was gonna say, I was thinking of protected auto properties, but no, I'm not. It must just be protected fields that it does. That's crazy. I thought that auto properties, I thought there was a way to do that in Unity, but maybe it just, I don't know. That's weird to me. But all right. Item component dot game object dot set active true. I don't know if this will work. I don't know if this will actually work, because I think it might not. I think the issue might be that by default this will have, like, I think components by default, they try to get the transform, they don't try to get the rect transform. So I'm actually kind of curious as to what this is going to do. In the list view component, we want to set u as that. So yeah, is this going to crash? Nope, that works. Okay, fair enough. Let's try 4, 5, and 6. 5 and 6. Let's just make sure that this is actually running this code and you're not getting something else. Okay, so that works. And so now in the, what is it? It's the list view tester component. Let's add stuff in the awake method of this. So let's see if we do list view, or actually let's just move that code into here. Grab that, and then we will grab that and do that. Should be list view.add. Perfect. Okay. So this ought to produce the same result. And then we can test like the name formatting and stuff like that. Ooh, that doesn't work. Ah, because it needs to be in start. Or wait, no, actually, wrong. It's because listview.add doesn't call refresh. But it doesn't need to. All it needs to do is it needs to call create item. The item. You know that you can do add range. Oh yeah, that's true. You're right. You're right, I can do that. When adding objects to a list, yeah, you're right. I can do that. I'm just used to, I don't know. I don't know why I do it. I don't know why I do it the funny way. Yeah, you're right. I can just do add. Oh wait, add range comes from. Where does add range come from? Does it come from? Actually, wait a minute. Where does it come from? It doesn't come from iList. I think add range comes from list. And so we're implementing iList here, so I don't think we have it. But yeah, I should use add range, but I don't. But yeah. Yeah, you're right. I should use add range, but again, since list view doesn't implement, it implements iList, but not actually list. Yeah, it's not from the interface. It's weird. It's weird that list itself adds so many things that are not from the actual interface. I don't understand that at all. Like, it's just weird to me. Like, iList itself should, in theory, have all of this stuff. Like, because lists, like, the definition of a list is that it's an ordered collection. Therefore, something like reverse should always be supported. You know, sort should always be supported. Well, it's not an ordered collection. It's a collection that maintains order, is what I mean to say. But like stuff like reverse, that should definitely be in list. All the like last index and insert and blah blah blah, all that should be in the iList interface, but I don't know why it's not. But yeah, this should work, right? Yeah, okay, it's 456, but it doesn't update the highlighting. Okay. So I think this needs to re-highlight the selected whenever we add. Something like that. Okay, yeah, any kind of modification at all should really re-highlight the selected. Well, actually, we should check if it changes the selected, then we should highlight it, but yeah, not worried about it. Okay, so we have that, and now what we need to do, or what I want to do, is I want to add a, say, list view dot, what is it, the name getter? That's going to be equal to a function from the object, or from the element. What we're going to do is we're going to say list view dot name getter. Ooh, actually. So does this reference... Ooh, what does this actually reference? So I think the actual one that we want, I think what we want to do is that. And then we want to say the getter dot invoke on element. Because sorry, should describe what I'm trying to do before I actually do it. So the thing that I'm trying to do is I'm trying to add a formatter to the getter so that it, basically I put 4, 5, and 6 in here, and I want them to be uppercase. The reason that we're doing that is because in the game that I was developing, one of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to add like icons to the sides of these, and that was dependent, it wasn't stored on the object itself what the icon was, it was determined by external code. So here I should be able to say to upper. Yeah. And so basically what I want to do is I want to invoke the normal getter, which is the one that just says, hey, get me the toString of this. And then, you know, we invoke the normal getter because in a real or in a different sort of scenario, these could be like more complex objects, and we don't really want this code to be, you know, the original code here. Yeah. Hey, reporting back to let you know that reinstalling Gamedev with Unity on Visual Studio installer fixed it. Interesting. Reinstalling Gamedev with Unity. I don't know what you mean by reinstalling Gamedev with Unity, but I'm glad you fixed it. You mean just like reinstalling Unity itself fixed it? So yeah, I'm glad you fixed it, but yeah, fortunately not sure what you mean. Yeah, okay. If this worked the way that I think it does, we want to save this getter. We want to call that getter because that'll get us the toString of this, which for now is 4, but you know, when you click modify on the Visual Studio, oh, okay. Oh, okay, I see. So reinstalling that fixed it. Okay. So that's good to know. Is that whenever you So you basically open Visual Studio Launcher and then you just modify it. Then you tell it, hey, reinstall just the Unity add-on. Okay. So if I run into that in the future, I'll have to try it. I'm very curious how you get it into that state like originally. Yeah, of course. But yeah, I'm very curious how you get it into that state originally, because I've seen it, like, this will show miscellaneous, and I've never been able to, like, forcibly get it into that state. But yeah, it's weird. But yeah, anyway, what this will do is this will evaluate to 4, because it'll be 4.toString. In a different scenario, we might have updated this to have a, well, actually, no. I'm not going to do this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a name formatter. That's what I'll do. Because this is better. So this will be string to a different string, and this will be the name formatter. Because that's really what I want to do anyway. Because we're going to pass in the name, and then we're just going to, in this case, return the name. Yeah, why didn't I think of this before? And so in this case, what we will do is we'll set the text equal to in create item. Where is it? The name getter, we will say name formatter dot invoke on the result. Actually, no, I don't have to do invoke because it's never going to be null. So we'll just say name formatter at name getter at element. Yeah, I usually use invoke because with invoke you can do like the null thing. You can do name formatter dot invoke you know, whatever, and then you can null coalesce to whatever the default is. But you know, and this won't throw anything well far. Yeah, like it's fine with this, but since this is never supposed to be null, it won't matter. Okay, so in that case, instead of the name getter, we're just going to say name formatter. And this will be the name to name.toUpper. Okay. And so now this should format it correctly. Perfect. Okay. So yeah, that was one of the main issues that I was having with the original code here. But anyway, I think that's a good place to stop. I learned a lot of things, especially the generic thing. That's really trippy. Like I'm gonna have to go back to Java and see if you can actually see if there's an issue with multiple implementing the same generic interface multiple times. Because I think there is, but maybe I just always misunderstood that. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out, and it's been nice talking to you. And yeah, I'll be back in 2 hours. The plan is to play some games from the Scorespace Jam 12 if I can. Again, the platform that they're holding it on, I'm not super familiar with, so I'm not familiar with how the voting works or how any of that works. So I'll figure that out in between streams. But yeah, it's been good seeing you, and I hope to see you again tomorrow or later today, whichever you choose. Anyway, see ya.